Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel. I'm sure it's a video day of some sort, but because I had a shout out, I didn't count. Uh, let's just assume it's somewhere over 1,000. It's well over 1,000 at this point. So, I don't know if you watched the non-spoiler version to give, like, just my general thoughts on the movie and just how well it turned out. But this is all about spoiler, so we get to talk plot points and beats and that end credit scene and the mid credit scene. And we get to speculate wildly, which is my favorite thing to do. So, I really liked that I got to see the plot of Sonic Adventure 2 play out on a big screen with just a thinned down cast. So, I really do like Sonic 3 or like Sonic Adventure 2. It does offend me a little bit that the only character left out was Rouge, who is one of my favorite Sonic characters. Still waiting to see how she works in. I'm thinking Knuckles Season 2. I'm thinking antagonist turned ally for Knuckles Season 2. What about you? That's where I'm thinking right now. But for the most part, yeah, like it's a really, really fun like send off to Sonic Adventure 2. And so many Easter eggs related to that. So if you missed it in the movie, you can see things such as Sonic the Hedgehog jumping out of the gun helicopter with the exact same lines he jumped out of a gun helicopter in, or a plane. I can't remember if it's a helicopter or a plane now, but he jumped from an aircraft with the exact same line, about no snacks, no in-flight movie. I wanted Escape from the City to just crank up so hard during that scene. It didn't happen. But, cool little nods like that. The black and white movie that Shadow and Maria are actually like in front are watching. It's the Bio Lizard. It's a little puppet version, but it's the Bio Lizard. And Shadow even draws a comparison to himself from it. So, absolutely fantastic touch. So, this is a movie I'm going to go back and watch again just so I can get all those little Easter eggs. But yeah, like it's straight up Sonic Adventure 2, just reworked into a movie, into something that makes sense for this franchise, right? I do, and I like that they kept to the plot. Like they kept Maria in. They were willing to kill off the little girl on camera for the sake of Shadow's backstory, still having that air of tragedy to it. Cool, appropriate. Give it that. The difference here is this senior Robotnik, Gerald Robotnik, who, yeah, so if you hadn't played Sonic Adventure 2, was really only seen in visual form. He was only in video, because like everything that was happening like in the space station was like automated. But in this movie, no. He's a clear and present threat, and that's why he's in the movie. Like specifically so he can be more of a threat than just like on screens with everything being automated. So good to see. Like I actually like that twist. And that does mean Jim Carrey can do a dual role, which apparently he was way into. And yeah, he had so much fun. Like, you could tell Jim Carrey was having so much fun. Not only, he always has fun being Eggman, but also to be Gerald Robotnik as well. He just seems so ridiculously over the top, and that's Jim Carrey to a T. So, yeah, I'm really hoping. So, yes, just like in the original, in the original Sonic Adventure 2, they teleport the space station away with chaos control. Here, they just blow it up, which is a really cool, intense scene, but, Robotnik's in the middle of it. So there's here begins wild speculation. Jim Carrey has announced he wants to come, like, he'd be willing to come back for other movies. So, like, if Sonic 4 has a role for Robotnik, I'm sure he'd be down for it still, despite retirement rumors. Because let's be honest, this is just a fun movie for him to make. He can do these things forever. So I'm really fingers crossed. Because there's a one throwaway line. There's one throwaway line. When he fires Stone, he mentions that, like, he can't be he basically mentions like finish up your duties, but not until you're cloned. So cloning's a thing. We can do cloning. We could literally just like clone an Eggman from like before he's like started cooperating with the furries. I don't know what else, like Team Sonic. Before he starts cooperating with Team Sonic. That could be a route to bring him back. There might be some time travel shenanigans. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, like that feels like the direction if you actually want to get Eggman back in. And then you could literally hatch him from an egg and drop the Robotnik thing. He is literally just the Eggman. So there's that possibility, which I think is fun. Shadow was supposedly died at the end too, because he gets caught in the explosion, but of course he survives. He's the after credit scene where we show, yeah, he's okay. He's somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. So if you hadn't paid attention to the background, you can see like stereotypical like Western cactuses, like the kind that go up and then like branch out into arms. So those are very particular types of cactus. You really only find those out west in the US around Arizona. So like when I vacationed in Arizona a few years ago, I did see a whole bunch of cactus, like cacti in that shape. So he seems like he landed somewhere in the desert in the US. So that almost makes me wonder if they are putting him far enough away from the main cast to do something on his own. Because they absolutely could get away with... I don't think Shadow is the type that could carry like a TV series. But I could absolutely see some kind of spin-off movie. Whether that's straight to Paramount Plus. Or like if they actually think this franchise is strong enough now that they can get away with doing like a secondary release. You know, like Sonic... You know, Sonic 4 is spring 2027? Or 2026, because it's 2 years off. So like maybe like a 2027 could be a Shadow movie, and then 2028 can be Sonic 5. Because I think I know where they're going for Sonic 5 already. We'll get to that in a bit. But it does feel like obviously these characters can run across the country in no time flat. So like really distance doesn't matter. But it really looks like they specifically chose a place where Shadow could be on his own for a bit. So that has me curious as to exactly what they'll be doing with that. I mean, he ended up in the desert. He could have like Shadow invading like Area 51 and discovering like a multitude of clones, just like go full Sonic Heroes with it. You could have him like run across like the true ultimate life form, and like there's actually a bio lizard. You could have fun with it. There's directions to go in. I'm very curious what they're going to do with Shadow, because of course they weren't going to kill him off. He's way too marketable. We'll talk about the other post-credit sequence later on. So, I liked Sonic's arc in this. So, we've had a couple movies to work out any kind of like he still has plenty of ego and bravado to him, of course, but we've worked in a lot of heart and caring to him. And this one of the things that I really like about the movies is that we get to do different things with Sonic. You know, so he has family, you know, and Knuckles and Tails are family to him now, you know, just, along with our human cast. But that said, it's a very different vibe, isn't it? Because Knuckles is supposed to be like the friendly rival. And he is kind of a friendly rival here, but only occasionally. Like he's never like stuck around Sonic except for like Sonic Boom. This is turning out way better than Sonic Boom, by the way. I do like their dynamic. I mean, of course, of course, you've got the speedster leader, you've got the tech head, the inventor, and then you've got the muscle. So like they're the perfect party balance, right? You know, that's always been like the whole Team Sonic thing. And they do play off great. Most everyone has good moments with each other. I really like the dynamic they have. Knuckles being far more like muscle-headed. Muscle-headed, like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like primitive or even like tribal in nature. Um, I'm still not sure how I feel about that, but it adds a different dynamic. I like it better than just, he's muscle that's kind of dumb, but otherwise he kind of thinks the way Sonic does. So I'll give him that. I will give him that. I do like the cameo. Like, I will admit, like, I have not seen the Knuckles TV series, so I don't know the name of the character, but I do like that they threw in Knuckles human, the one who is guarding the Master Emerald in this movie. That was funny. But all of that dynamic plays against what happens with Sonic when he when his family gets hurt and he starts going like full rage mode. And it's a very different Sonic. Like, I've never seen like a Sonic that's just like furiously angry. Like, maybe the comic books when Sally got, air quote, killed. But that's it. Like, it's a very different look for him. And it is to teach him, it's to give him a parallel to Shadow, so Shadow can like learn the mistakes he's made. Again, we are following a tone very similar to Sonic Adventure 2, though this one has like that parallel working in. And it plays well. I do like how it's overall done. And, it does give Sonic an extra depth to him. Like when he realizes what he's become and kind of lets that anger go, just kind of show, which shows Shadow the way in the first place. It does enhance the character. I love that we've gone 3 movies and it still feels like Sonic the Hedgehog is evolving as a character. Because you know what Sonic never gets to do in his main universe? Evolve as a character. Sonic still feels like the same character in the video games. He feels like the anchor point that all the other characters evolve around, where Knuckles is more of a teammate, Tails is more confident, Amy has a million bits of growth to her. But Sonic just basically stays Sonic, but not here. And I love that we're telling a story with Sonic where he can have these deeper emotions. He can have these tragedies go on. He can have life-changing experiences, and he actually changes and adapts as a character. That's great. He learned in this movie to kind of let go of his ego and, care for everyone else, like in his family and his team. Like, that was great. Like, it plays well. So, see, we talked about Robotnik's death. We talked about Shadow surviving, and Shadow, again, great. He gets to do the Akira slide. He gets to have his motorcycle and his gun, because you're not going to do that. I love that they hit that. This is another thing. I waited for Escape from the City to hit in, even if it's just like an orchestral version, just to emphasize that moment. I was waiting for All Hail Shadow to hit. I was really waiting for All Hail Shadow to hit. Did not get it. Oh, well. Maybe next movie. Like, All Hail Shadow should play when he, like, just shows up toward the climax of the next movie and just, like, he's just like the hero that jumps in to, like, save the day or something. Like, what else can we talk about? I want to talk, yeah, we talk about Gerald Robotnik. I like that he's a force to just be a menace. And he to be the main villain. Gun, I think, could have been handled better. Maybe a little bit, like they did feel kind of underwhelming for a bit. But then again, I guess that's how they are in the games. Gun is just kind of ineffective, which is why they have to hire Rouge to do everything. Again, Sonic Adventure 2. So I think the big thing to talk about here is, of course, the mid-credit sequence. The next furry to show up. Because they love to do that. It's like, instead, like, if they do the same thing with their, like, mid-credit sequences that Marvel does to tease, like, what's happening for the next movie. But instead, it's just like, no, we're not doing spin-offs. This is just the next movie. We're just teasing the next movie. And, yeah, I think it was pretty much a given. Like, if you're going to do the big characters from Sonic, the biggest one left is absolutely Amy. I love that it's the inverse. I love that it's the inverse of their original meeting in Sonic CD, where Sonic is saving her when she's just a damsel in distress. She is, her introduction is basically his version of Princess Peach. Here's the thing. Amy has continued to evolve as the games have gone on. And I could do a whole video about this if I wanted to. There's so many thoughts that roll through my head. But you follow her progression from like Sonic CD to Sonic Adventure, where she is still like, she's not able to keep up. She has her own skills, but they are like not really, she's not really combative until she gets the confidence for it at the very end. You move to Sonic Advanced, where like she becomes playable and they have to speed her up so that she can run the same courses as Sonic. You move on to Sonic Heroes, where the whole gimmick is every team needs a speedster, so now I guess Amy is just as fast as Sonic. And you just power her up as the games go until she's almost a match for Sonic in what she can do. Because it's not just, oh, she can almost keep up with him in speed now. She also wields this massive hammer at the same time. So she's like we're blending Sonic and Knuckles' abilities here. But then you evolve her character, that like overwhelming like fangirl crush has cooled off. She's still crushing on Sonic, but she's much more mellow about it now. She's not overwhelming him or anything. In Sonic Frontier, Sonic is comfortable enough to invite her along on the trip. So clearly she has grown as an individual. And I find that half of her growth is accidental just because she needs to adapt to game mechanics. But the rest of it, I would arguably call her the most developed character in the entire Sonic franchise. So I love seeing her in this movie, their new first meeting, her saving Sonic from a whole team, like 20 or so Metal Sonics, like she's Thor. Like she handles all of them like it's nothing. And it's fantastic. Okay, we're not getting like helpless victim Amy Rose. We're getting like modern badass, I can handle myself Amy Rose. We talk about Sonic Boom. It's one of the few things I liked about Sonic Boom, is that the crush was much more reduced. It's not nearly as visible, but Amy is far smarter, far more confident, far stronger. She is her own hero. And I like that Amy a lot better than Classic. Here's what I love. Here's what I love about this. You have such a good storytelling opportunity here. Because I don't think there's much of a movie in the traditional dynamic between Sonic and Amy. So, if you imagine Sonic 4 as, okay, Amy's been in New York and watching Sonic be a very public hero out west, and she's just like crushing on this hedgehog she's seeing on TV or whatnot, right? What if we skirt past that? What if we forget that? What if this is inverted? Because if you go with a traditional dynamic, then you're watching the entire movie just be about like a girl who is crushing on Sonic, and Sonic is just being a jerk by not giving her any kind of chance. And I think we've had 3 movies now. We've gone beyond jerk Sonic. And we can just move into like pure-hearted hero Sonic, and we don't need to have this, because that doesn't feel like a good movie. That doesn't feel like something I want to watch for 2 hours. But if I have a Sonic who looks at the first, in canon, canonically, the first female hedgehog he's ever seen, and she is this badass wielding this massive hammer who just wiped out a ton of robots on her own, just did this huge, cool, heroic rescue moment. If it's Sonic that is actually going, wow. If Sonic is the one crushing, it's such a better movie, because you have Sonic fumbling over himself, trying to impress the girl, trying to trying to put his usual cool act on, trying to be cool Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's not working. He's either fumbling around, trying too hard, making a goof of himself, or Amy is just flat out not impressed. Because we have an Amy here who clearly has been at this a while. Like, the Sonic robots did not take her back at all, knew exactly how to wipe them out. She's under a cloak, which means, theoretically, she could have been here on Earth longer than Sonic was, and she's just being way more discreet about it. So you have this opportunity to have this Amy who is, cool and confident and not impressed by Sonic the Hedgehog, because she's already so much a hero and so powerful herself that what Sonic does is not nearly as impressive as when Amy first saw Sonic in the games. it's a funnier movie. It leads you to so many more gags, so many better jokes. And of course, like, it's supposed to be a kid's movie. So this is where the jokes could come from. It's not like Sonic constantly shoving Amy away. That's not funny. That's not jokey for kids. Oh, but Sonic being a complete like bumble around Amy, trying to be the cool guy who can't figure out how to impress the girl. That's funny. That leads to antics. That leads to zaniness, right? And I feel like it's one of the universes that where like the shippers could actually feed. Because this is a universe where Sonic gets to do one of the things that Sega mandates Sonic never does anymore, which is settle down. He has a home. He has a family. These are things that Sega, in game canon, never wants Sonic to have because those are indications of slowing down. And Sonic is supposed to be a character who is always exploring, adventuring, always on the move. It's why they don't pair up Sonic and Amy in the games, officially. So this is a movie where they can get away with things they haven't done before. And when they keep making the money that they make, Sega's going to let them do whatever they want, right? They're going to be able to get away with a lot more. So this could be it. This could be the movie for the Sonic and Amy shippers. Like, this could actually be a good situation. This could be a great situation to actually do a proper Super Amy. I still think it's so unfair that only the male hedgehogs get to have a gold mode. Drop the sexist thing. We need Amy. We need gold in Amy. We need it now. It's been too long. It's way overdue. But yeah, I'm excited for the possibilities. I'm so really I'm hyped because of what they could potentially do with Amy in these movies. It could be a lot of fun. I just hope they don't. I hope they don't shoehorn the old dynamic in. The character's grown so far beyond it, and there's so many better things you could do. That does leave the question of where Metal Sonic came from. And there's plenty to speculate there as well. He appeared in a lightning bolt, and I'm not sure if it's incidental that it looked like reminiscent of Terminator, and when time travel was a thing there. Keep in mind, time travel was first introduced in Sonic CD. Depending on the path you took through the levels, you either ended up in the past or the future. And of course, that's the first game that Amy and the now main Metal Sonic, that's the first game either appeared in. So if you take that for what it's worth, you could see an adaptation of Sonic CD's story with maybe a little bit of Sonic Heroes thrown in, because I feel like the direction should be maybe these metals came from the future. Maybe there is a Robotnik in the future, and you just had to figure out how. That explains where the metals came from. Or you could have it as a leftover of Robotnik, one of Robotnik's leftovers that just happens to be churning out these metal Sonics. In that case, what you'd be looking at is a master mold situation from X-Men, where one gigantic robot is creating all these little ones. And those are the bots that Amy's had to deal with in New York. With that in mind, it brings to mind Metal Overlord from Sonic Heroes. So there's the direction of adaptation, if you want to go that route. So that's where I kind of feel okay, that's my main villain. If I'm thinking about what comes next in the Sonic games, I'm blending the story in Sonic CD a little bit to bring in Amy and Metal. But I also need a big bad, and that's where I kind of think maybe appropriate time to have Metal Overlord show up, because I think after that the villains just kind of get goofy, So it's interesting. I'm very excited to see where they could possibly go. There's a lot of things they could do, but I'm gonna cut it off there. That's all my speculations. I'm very excited. I am an Amy fan, so I'm very curious as to what they're going to do with her. I'm also a Rouge fan. I'm just going where is she? Where is she? But that's going to do it for me. So thank you everyone for watching, whether you watch this video or, both videos, either one. I do appreciate it. And as always, I will see you next time.
Analysis complete. Adapting translators to local language.
Are you out there?